Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 young kids who does commentary. I basically just do it like a trending topic or true crime, whatever I find interesting at the time, and that's like worth it to dig into, you know. I don't cover SA, so just so you know, I will not cover anything regarding that. So yeah, today's video is an update on the Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto case. I have done 2 videos already talking about this. One was just like a general talking about it when it first broke, and a second was about Myrta Romanos. And that video, I have a little bit to say about that. Okay, it made its rounds. It's like at 23,000 views, and yes, I said in the video, of course, form your own opinion. You're your own person. Don't take everything I say as fact. But people like really just ran with it in terms of like heard a little bit and then made it this whole story surrounding it. I tuned into a lot of lives. I was interested, like I said in my previous videos, I am like expanding my mind, looking at the people so I get a full, well-rounded picture myself. But I found some new ones that I really enjoy, different channels, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But there's just like, people like just form their, I mean, it's good to form your own opinion, but like people have said that they heard from this channel and they didn't mention my channel, didn't credit me, but then they misconstrued my words because I'm the only one who talked about this and found the information. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's the nature of the internet. But yeah, I just wanted to clear the air with certain things because I kind of messed up my words a little bit. I did make it clear on the screen what properties I was talking about. Okay, so if you don't know about this case, it is about 2 young people. One was, she's a teen who was pregnant. She was overdue, over 41 weeks. She missed her induction, and that's when people got worried. She has a boyfriend. They both went missing. At first, people thought that maybe he unalived her, and then it came out that they were found in a car not that far from their house, like 15 minutes or something. So this has been gained international attention because of her being so far along. It's not normal for, you know, young kids who get unalived to be talked about this much, but it's just because of the type of case and what it was surrounding. It's very, like the chief has been saying, perplexing, and that's very much what it is. So it's very interesting, and yeah, I think it's good to keep talking about it because if you don't keep talking about it, it's not going to put pressure on the local police force and DA to convict the right people. So let's just hop into this video. Sorry for the long-winded intro. If you know me, you know I do long-winded intros and outros. I try not to. I just can't help myself. I'm sorry. I want to clear some confusion on the housing and the wills. People have ran with my information and just take it for what it is, but I'm just going to clarify some things because I kind of messed up my words and then I cleared on the screen. People are saying like I'm not making sense or that maybe what I'm saying is false or whatever. And I wanted to dig in a little bit more, make sure I got the dates correct, and just prove to you guys kind of like what I found and why I think what I think. Okay, I have to look at my phone for these notes, and I'm kind of pissed off right now because I already recorded all this and my freaking mic was not recording, so I'm a little bit extra snarky right now. Okay, so if you don't know, Felipe is Myrta, the one who's being charged with these crimes against Savanah and Matthew. Her dad is named Felipe. Her mom is named Myrta. I'm going to refer to her mom as Myrta Senior so it's not confusing because everyone has junior names here in this case. Those are her parents, and they both passed away. So I'm going to share all the details, and I have to look at my phone 1,000 times in order to get this correct. Okay. So there's 2 houses in this case that have been talked about. The Gramercy house and the Charlie Chan house. The Charlie Chan house is where Savanah's phone had pinged and where everyone believes that the crimes have happened and where Christopher, Ramon, and Myrta live. And then people are saying Myrta doesn't live there, and this proves that, you know, they weren't together anymore, whatever.
She did live, them 3 did live in the house together.
And also Myrta's constantly being referred to in the news as a stepmom, but I believe she's the actual mom because of the things I found out.
KENS 5's Vanessa Croy has more on the arrest of the stepmother.
She is believed to be the stepmother of 19-year-old Christopher Preciado.
Police say that third person is Myrta Ramones. Police say she's possibly Christopher Preciado's stepmother.
Tonight, a father, son, and now stepmother all facing charges in the deaths of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra.
You'll see my thoughts are jumbled. The Gramercy house was bought October 19th, 1972. Felipe and Myrta Sr. are both on that house, okay? It wasn't even, the address wasn't even Gramercy. It was like Lot O something 33 before it even had an address. So it's like a long ass time ago, okay guys? And then by July 30th, 2001, the house was paid off. And then July 15th, 2002, they took out their first cash lien on the house. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. I kept saying Leanne and my husband was like, no, it's called lien. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a stay-at-home mom who likes commentary. I can't look into every single pronunciation of everything. Don't have the time. I put my time into research, okay? And some people could argue that's part of research, but I'm exhausted. You know, you can tell I'm exhausted. And then July 24th, 2010, so 8 years later, Murda Sr. died. Don't know what she died of, but she has passed away. And then December 11th, 2010, so just 6 months after his mother passed away, Roberto, one of Murda, the one in this case who's been charged, her brother contested his mother's portion of the Gramercy house because she died without a will. He, in the document, has two people who have known his mom for 15 years say everything that he's saying in this document is correct. And so also people say that, you know, Murda's siblings are probably really bad and that's why they weren't left anything. I'm not here to argue that. I'm just being factual right here on the information because they weren't left anything in the will. Like I shared in my earlier video, they were only left their dad's undying love. So he contested his mother's portion December 11th, 2010. And just 4 freaking days later, Felipe took out a home equity conversion deed of trust for $177,000, which is taking out a portion of the equity of the house. From what I can see, it has to do with like the house being paid off, I think, and then they could take money out. So rather than sell it, they just like whatever the house is worth, they can take money out, I guess. I don't know if that's a mortgage or something. So when I looked into it, it didn't seem like it was a mortgage. So anyone correct me if I'm wrong. People always correct me if I'm wrong, which I appreciate sometimes, you know, just like be nice about it. I'm doing my best here. So please don't be like a jerk about it. But then what I saw, oh yeah, so he specifically took it out as Felipe Romanos Jr., a single man. His wife had just died 6 months before, and he took it out. I believe he did this so that he could prove to the documents in the courts or whatever that his wife doesn't live there anymore. She doesn't live there. This is my house. I took out this massive amount of money on it. So this proves it's mine, and, you know, my children can't contest that my wife didn't have a will, and, you know, this is not her house anymore. She's not alive, blah, 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 whatever. But I feel like Roberto could have done his homework a little bit better. From what I saw, the lien was released on the house January 6, 2011, 6 months later after he contested his mother's portion of the house. And her name is on this document. So I believe that means that the house is paid off then. And again, people correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that means the house is paid off. So if he would have argued it, he could have saw that his mother's name was on it, and he could have got a portion of the house, is what I think. Maybe he can still do it because all this shit happening right now. So someone send this to Roberto. Just kidding. But yeah. Okay. So that is what I find really interesting, okay? And then the will that I've shared with you guys already before was signed July 20th, 2011. So that was almost a full year to the day that his wife passed, that this will was signed. And I believe Murda is the mastermind of this whole crime because of this. Because who can do this to their parents? Who can do this to their family, you know? It's very fucked up. So her brother contested the portion of the will. This is what I believe. So every document, prior to his mom's passing, every document, Murda Sr. was on it. Felipe and his wife, Murda. Everything, every document had her name on it. So then if they had a will, if Felipe actually had an original will prior to this one will being written in July 2011, Murda Sr. would have been on it. That's my assumption on all this stuff. She would have been on it. So I believe that because of this, he had never had a will. And I said, rewritten the will. I believe he had never had a will now at this point. And he just made up a will in July 2011 at the guidance of Murda. This is my assumption. Doesn't mean it's fact. It's all alleged. It's just from what I found in the documents and my interpretation of the documents. Seeing them all online. I believe that. And then Felipe died October 19th, 2019. And then just 2 years later, Murda filed a document, August 10th, 2021, you know, claiming she wants to get the ball rolling on getting this money. You know, she's the executor of the will. She's the one in charge of doing everything. It's pretty fucked. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. Okay. What I could see when I read the document is that, like if Murda goes to prison, I believe she is not in charge of anything in the will anymore. And when I read it, I didn't see that he put anyone else like as an executor of the will if something were to happen to Murda. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I have no idea. I don't know if the courts just take over it, because she also has the type of guidance with the will is like where minimal court involvement with being the executor. Like sometimes there's like a lawyer who oversees you, making sure you're making the right decisions and the best interest of the person who had originally written the will. But from what I can see, I don't see anything like that. I see that she has like the most lenient way of being an executor of a will. So it's unfortunate. I mean, because they've gone to prison now, if they do get eventually charged with this crime, who knows what's going to happen. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that Myrta has all these like tax issues. She has problems. She has all this money owing. So I'm just checking my phone here. She has all this money owing. This is why she did this. And, you know, allegedly unalived Savanah and Matthew because she needed this money. No, I don't believe she needed this money. Both the houses have been completely paid off. And in the document, it's specific. The reason why I also think that, so Christopher was left the Gramercy house. And the reason why I believe, I know that Myrta was left the Charlie Chan house is because it specifically says in the document that Myrta has left everything, including any real estate, property, anything without restriction. She's left everything else. Besides the Gramercy house, she's left everything else. So she does have to pay taxes on it. I did see something, hopefully I have still the screenshot, but that like $8,000 in taxes was paid in Felipe's name in December before the unalivings even happened. So yeah, I don't believe they're hurting for money. Honestly, I do not believe they're hurting for money. I believe that Myrta did good. I don't know if she was even given any of the money from the will yet. I didn't see anything in the documentation that she was given anything yet. So, I mean, maybe that will come out in time. I don't know. But I did my best to find all the documents that I could. I'm exhausted. Like I found so many documents of people getting married and all that sort of stuff and housing, and it's just crazy. But yeah, hopefully that clears up a little bit for people who were confused on the houses and the will and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Is that my personal assumption is just that they're not struggling and she's just gifted this from her dad and she took advantage of him and, you know, she's a bad person. That's allegedly, and that's just my own thoughts, which is my opinion. I'm commentary. I'm not a true crime channel. I'm not a lawyer. So this is just, like I said, my interpretation and just what I think. Okay. So my original plan here was to do like a whole Ramon video, but there's really not much about him online, honestly. There's not much I can say about him. I've done some digging and I will share just a little bit of what I know. From what I know, his parents, this is interesting. So Ramon was born March 1970, and I found a document that his parents got married February 1970. So they got married, you know, like in the olden days, everyone got married because they got pregnant. Like I believe that was the case here. So they married, like literally she was like 8 months pregnant and they got married, which is interesting to me. His mother's maiden name is Delgado, which to me is interesting. Okay, now this is like tinfoil hat, okay? I told you before that Gloria, Savanah's mom, has had multiple baby daddies. One of them has a last name Delgado. Now I know that can, like looking into this case, there's like every single last name is like a very popular last name in their community and their state and America, like, but these aren't last names I've ever heard other than looking into this case. But yeah, I can't prove that anyone's related. I was like really
Tringer is like, I wonder if Gloria's child is somehow related to Ramon, like through marriage or something. Not like, you know, like if one of Gloria's baby daddies, their last name's Delgado, and then Ramon's mom's maiden last name is Delgado, I was like, could there be some sort of relation
there? And from what I can see, no, there isn't. I was just grasping at straws there. So there's no relation there, but it would have been kind of juicy if there was. But there definitely is not. And why do I share that? Just because I want to share that I've really researched everything, every angle that I possibly could research. Okay. And what I can see is that Ramon has at least 3 siblings, maybe 4 siblings. And I have a hard time, like I can't confirm it. I think that Ramon graduated high school in 1992, by the way. Couldn't find anything for sure that he did. I only am going off one of his siblings graduating high school and seeing that. So what I can see, I'm not going to share his siblings' names or anything like that, but I can see that he has a sister who is a nurse. She's a nurse in Bexar County, and her husband, his last name is the same last name as the lawyer that Myrta hired to deal with the dad's will and to get the ball rolling. So that's interesting to me, is that clearly to me, they must have a close family. And then I can see here that I even know exactly where Ramon's sister works. I know exactly where she works, but I'm not going to share that. Just other than that, she is a nurse. So if anyone finds that, it takes a little bit of a digging, but you may be able to find it if you care enough about that. So when it comes to the children, Christopher is Myrta's only child that I can see. It is not Ramon's only child. Ramon has 2 other children. He has Ramon Preciado the third, so his dad's senior, Ramon is junior, and then his son is the third one. His son goes by I believe he goes by Ray, I think. I know Christopher's middle name is Ray, but I think that, from what I can see looking online, that his son goes by Ray. And then he also has a daughter. I'm not going to share her information because I don't think she's involved in any way, other than maybe working for her dad's business, but also sharing his son's name, Ramon III. It's a very common name. I don't think people are going to find him. I couldn't find his Facebook or anything like that, but I did see that he does work for Ramon's business, which is Almighty Air Conditioning and Heating, I think. I don't know if they do heating, but I believe that's something that they do. He works for his dad's business as well. And Ramon had those 2 children with someone named Yolanda Sanchez. I know her maiden last name. She's been married a few times. She doesn't look like she was involved in their lives. I believe that Ramon raised all those children himself. I know she took him to court for child support. You know, everyone in this case has all done, people are like thinking about paternity testing. I've seen that mentioned a lot in the comments. A lot of these people, I would say like 99.99% of anyone in this case that's ever been mentioned has done paternity testing and has had to have their wages garnished with their job because they didn't pay child support. So I don't know if she ended up paying him child support because he raised the kids. That could have been it, but I just couldn't find that. Another thing about Ramon is he started his business in 2001. So he started it before Christopher was born. So like 4 years before Christopher was born. And I believe that's a year before his Ramon III was born. So he's had it for a very long time. So the reason why I think that he has had family members work for him, I believe he's had his daughter, his son, and I think a sibling work for him because of the phone number. His phone number for his business is tied to multiple people. And that could be coincidence, but if they're the same last name and they are related to him, I believe that they have worked for Ramon's business. Nothing wrong with that, obviously, it's great. I don't know. Okay, we all know that their business has been doxxed and people are like, whatever. And their Facebook, they actually deleted their Facebook, but I took screenshots before their Facebook was deleted. I feel like a little bit bad because if his son, the third, isn't involved and like his brother works for the business and all this kind of stuff, like I feel kind of bad for them because if they're not involved in it, then their business is getting hurt potentially. And that's people's livelihood, you know? So I fully agree, like not sending hate to any of these people who aren't involved. Yes, it's Ramon's business. It's bound to happen. I know whatever his business is going to get attacked because it's his business, but I do feel a little bit bad, not for Ramon, but for the people who potentially are not involved, you know? They could be involved, okay? They could be involved. So don't call me whatever, you know? I'm just being practical in my thoughts here. I can't say anything else. Oh, I did see that he had a PPP loan. My husband's like, that doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't mean anything because influencers have taken out a PPP loan and they're not the ones who should have it. It should go to small business owners like these people. But yeah, I just found it interesting that he took out a PPP loan and I just wanted to mention it. So Ramon's siblings live really close to him. I put their initials on the screen and then also in relation to where Savanah and Matthew lived. Yeah, it's just the distance of where they lived is like very close. So it's, in my mind, it's potential that someone else could be involved. And I wonder if it's one of his siblings, potentially. Like if he has a sister who's a nurse, that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know. And like with Ramon's business, okay, I found his TikToks. We've all probably seen them. He mentioned specifically like being really good at cleaning things, you know?
Yo, this is Almighty Air with another system for a customer. Bad coil, needs to be cleaned ASAP. Filter clogged, drain line clogged. Needs to be clean. So we're gonna deep clean right now. About to get down on this. Look how much y'all inhaling right now. That's bad. Gives y'all headaches, give you earaches, give you bloody noses. Holla at me 210-289-2830 guys. Almighty Air, holler now back. San Antonio, Texas.
So I think he cleaned up the crime really good, potentially, and maybe that's why there wasn't blood out of the car and all this kind of sort of stuff. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Ramon. That's all I have. Sorry if it sounded jumbled and weird and whatever, but it is just like a weird case overall and just like hard to find information because their names are so like common, you know? So yeah, that's what I have there. Now I should have told you guys this is like a hodgepodge video, if that's the right word, but there's no like crazy theme other than it's like kind of like an update video, but there's a few things I wanted to mention of just things I've seen online and just like whatever in no particular order. Okay. No particular order. So one of the things I want to mention is that with that video, when the police released that surveillance video of Matthew's car, and we had no idea when the date of it was that it happened. We thought it was maybe the 26th, but it was shown or told that the unalivings happened December 21st. In this video, you can see that someone has their flashers on. People thought it was a woman driving because of that, but they had their right blinker on, and then actually the inside light is being flicked at the same time. I think, call me crazy, but I think there's a fourth person involved. I don't know who it could be. I don't know if it's Ramon's other son. I have no idea. But because of like the way that the inside light goes first and the right blinker goes next, and the person has to be driving, I think that there's a fourth person involved. Do you guys think there's a fourth person involved? And then also, When you look at the video, you can see that the door is opened before this person even gets to Ramon's truck. Also, Ramon is a big guy, but if you look at pictures of Myrta, she is a lot bigger of a woman. I think she potentially is this person getting out of the car because she has a ponytail. The person looks like they have a ponytail. They could be wearing a bulletproof vest, is what I think. I tried looking up XL bulletproof vest on Amazon because I assume that's where they would have bought it from, but I can't find anything. I really believe in my mind that there is a fourth person involved. Like, I don't believe it was just these three people, not in the slightest. And then the next thing I want to mention is the video that's been circulating about PPE from the truck recovery, about the police, the SPD not wearing it. I fully believed it myself. And I don't know if I'm going to insert the video from Duty Ron because Carlos is in it.
Right.
You could see,
Yeah,
obviously.
let's see who gets out of the truck now, because they just drove it out of the driveway. And what is he going to drive it right up onto the truck, onto the flatbed?
Flatbed's right there.
Carlos, does he drive it up to the flatbed, or does he have the flatbed pull it up?
No, the flatbed put it up.
Okay.
Pulled it up. Was it a police officer?
All right, there's the guy getting out of the car. He was wearing something white. You sure he wasn't wearing PPE?
No.
And people are hating on me for mentioning Carlos. Carlos commented on my video, laughy emojis, probably because of what I said. And thank goodness I clicked on it and saw who it was, because laughy emojis on a video talking about, unalivings is distasteful in my opinion. But he's probably just laughing at me mentioning him, which teach their own. I just said to him, like, hopefully he didn't take offense, and probably he did. But he had mentioned for sure there was no PPE being worn. And then Duty Ron is a retired NYPD police officer, and he sometimes has this guy on it, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, who is a private investigator or some sort of investigator with the NYPD. He mentions, like, oh, it looks like he's wearing PPE, and I was like, what? That's interesting. So then I went back and looked at it, and frick yeah, this guy, the guy who drove the truck, it's hard to see because of the video, the original video of Carlos taking it. It is like, just like, it's shaky, and then for a good reason, you're not going to take a perfect video. Like, and he's like there's a lot he's trying to video record, which good for him for doing it. But the person, you can see the lights of the truck are yellow, and they're shining on this person. And he said that the person was wearing a vest, and I assume just like a clothing vest. But you can see that it's all one solid color. Unlike the video of the surveillance of Ramon's truck, that person clearly wore a vest because you can see the color difference, This person is clearly wearing PPE. So I want to just be factual. I'm nervous bringing up Carlos again because, people's emotions get hurt. But I'm a factual based person. I'm not everyone's emotions matter, but it looks as if that the person was wearing PPE. So I know I'm in the minority here, but I fully believe that they were following protocol. Everyone wants to compare this to Idaho, for good reason, whatever. We're all entitled to our opinions. But I believe that the SPD is actually handling this case correctly. And I don't want to bad talk them because they are a police force who's busting their ass to get this done. And I know the Secret Service had to be called in this is an election year. So the DA is, I believe one of the reasons why he's really pushing to solve this is because it's an election year, and people have mentioned the George Soros funding with this DA, and that he got $1 million and whatever. I guess that doesn't even really matter, but I believe that the SPD did follow the protocol correctly and were wearing PPE when recovering that truck. So teach their own, but that's what I believe. The EMS report. So everyone's been covering this document about the EMS report. I put on a community post asking, and someone had told me it was the EMS report, thank goodness, so that I could request the document myself. So I'll see if it's true, but the language is weird. And I think it's weird that there's red marking out, because on redacted information from police is always a black bar. So this is obvious to me that someone used their finger to redact it. And I don't know if it's just the person who originally requested it just did that. But the police force, in my opinion, they would not do that. Every single redacted information from police is always with a black bar. So I just question the document that everyone's talking about because of that. And it gives details on the placement of their bodies. So, and that's a very big deal, that wasn't in the affidavit. So, I mean, the affidavit doesn't have everything. People keep mentioning certain things with the affidavit. But with the Ruby, Frankie, Jody Hildebrand case, the panic and safe room wasn't mentioned in the affidavit, but that did exist, so. that is something there. I also want to mention that in my original video, I had shared the birth dates of Matthew and Savanah. I did get Savannah's birth date wrong, but I did get Matthew's wrong. So I'm so sorry for that. That was not right. I did as much research as I could with the information that I had out there. But Matthew, I had said was born May 6, 2001. That is incorrect. He was born October 6, 2001. So I got the numbers correctly, just not the month correctly. So I'm so sorry, but that was his actual birthday. So the car seat placement also gives me like the feeling of that someone else was there. While people are saying that they were sloppy with cleaning up and whatever, the fact that there wasn't multiple shell casings there, I believe they weren't as sloppy, but who knows? Because of the car seat placement, I believe that they're not that smart to think that through to cover her up so it can't be seen. You know, they parked in like a place that everyone can see the car if they were looking for that vehicle. I believe that there was a fourth person. They just moved the car seat because they had to fit the fourth person in. Call me crazy, but that's just like one of the things that I believe that there was a fourth person. And also, did I mention this before? I don't know if I did, but that the cult is a distraction. Okay, guys, I don't believe that has anything to do with it. Nothing. I don't believe that has anything to do with it. I think it's a distraction. I think there's been no new news coming out. People had to latch onto something, so everyone latched onto the cult. I freaking hate watching things about the cult. I'm so sick of hearing about it. I don't believe it's involved. Raquel was talking about it for years. I think if the cult was involved, you would never have saw their bodies. I don't know. Whatever. I just don't believe the cult's involved. I think it's stupid. I think it's so dumb. To even think anything of it is so stupid. Oh yeah, what I find interesting too about Savannah's family versus Matthew's family is Matthew's family has not deleted any posts that I can see. Savannah's family, they have deleted like so many of their posts. So like I find that kind of interesting. Taste their own, do what you want. And the last thing I want to mention is what the police officer who by the way, she spelled murder's name wrong in that thing. She had mentioned, so the thing that was mentioned was not Christopher leaving. Okay, sorry, my mind's jumbled. It has been mentioned that Murda and Ramon were seen leaving the house, or Ramon was in the truck and Murda was seen coming back or leaving the house, and then Christopher and Murda and Ramon were seen coming back. There's been no talk of them seeing Christopher leaving.
Surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck.
Some people think Christopher is maybe picked up by Savanah and Matthew. Perhaps that could have been the case for sure. But there's been no talk about Christopher leaving the house. Did he leave from the side door, the back, wherever door there was? Why hasn't been mentioned yet of Christopher leaving? Like there's been no talk of that at all. This is very weird to me. And then also hearing that like the timing of when Ramon and Murda left or whatever. I think maybe Ramon was with Christopher when they passed, you know? It's just, this is weird to me. My brain is jumbled. This is all jumbled because nothing makes sense. And I'm just kind of just picking up little pieces of things that I've been wanting to mention and talk about. Okay. That is what I have for all the little missing pieces, all little things that I just want to clear up. Okay. So that's what I have for that portion, for this portion of this video. I wanted to mention, okay, I went on Matthew's Telegram, and I know some people think maybe it could be real, it could be fake, whatever. I went through the whole entire thing, guys. Everything in the Telegram. I fully believe that Matthew was armed when this happened. And he posted all the time about being armed. Driving, being armed, all the time. He posted his stuff, his weapons, all the time. He had them in his pictures with his DRUGSs. He had them in his house. He had them all the time with him. I fully believe he was armed. And he had multiple types of weapons with him. Sizes and whatever. Now, okay, this is jumbled because, like I said, this case is jumbled, but then this information is jumbled. It is what it is. He was fully armed. Whoever unalived them knew he was armed. And I know Chris allegedly was in the Telegram. Christopher was allegedly in the Telegram. He was, they would have known. I believe they were ambushed. I believe there was more than one unaliver here because their wounds were apparently to the back of their right ear, behind their head. I think if it was the back of the head, at least one of them got shot behind their right ear. So they both shot behind the head. That had to have been that if there was a drug deal, that the two people climbed in the back of the car, because we all know, if you know anything about drugs, people, when they pick up from, like, their dealer comes to their house, they get in the car to not, to avoid any suspicion. They get their stuff and they get out of the car. I believe if this happened, that two people got in the back seat, and whatever happened, they both got unalived at the exact same time, because this is what I believe. I could be wrong. But this is what I fully believe, that they both got unalived at the exact same time. That's just my theory. I'm probably wrong, but everything I've watched, I fully believe that because Matthew was armed, you know? I don't believe that. Like, unless there was like, I don't know, like, it was not self-defense, clearly, because it would have been like multiple shots. It would not have been both at the back of the head. That's not self-defense. There's no way that's self-defense. And this person would have known that Matthew was armed and would have had to get it done like that, okay? There's no way. And then there's the telegram, the last post that said, you know, pickups are tomorrow. In my opinion, that was not Matthew. Every post that Matthew did talking about pickups tomorrow, get your orders in, Matthew was a salesman. He was a hustler, man. I am not condoning this kind of lifestyle, but he freaking hustled hard. He always said, you know, this how much have I left, you know, make a deal for people that I know. He was hustling like freaking crazy. And every single post that said, you know, get your orders in for tomorrow, always had emojis. If it was like a basic post, it had a house emoji and a handshake emoji. Always, 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 always. He only has one other picture other than the last one being blurry, and he has tons of words, emojis, and all that sort of stuff. The way that this was written, it was written that same day around 5 p.m. of their unalivings. I do not believe that was him. I believe whoever did it, I can't remember if they said that Matthew's phone was recovered from the crime scene or wherever. I believe that they did this to avoid suspicion on when they were actually missing. Because there's also like inconsistency of when Savanah and Matthew were last seen. It was said that's 22nd, but they were unalived on the 21st. There's just so many missing pieces, and we don't know because it's an active, ongoing case. We don't need to know, so we're just speculating, which is totally cool if you're enjoying speculating. I enjoy it because I think the discussion keeping going is going to help this case hopefully get the justice that it deserves and needs. And there's a lot of crime in San Antonio. So maybe they thought like leaving the car there, maybe it wasn't sloppy. Maybe they thought leaving it there was no big deal because how many people get unalived every day in San Antonio? The crime is crazy there. So anyways, I do not believe that was Matthew. Looking through it all, how much he posted, I don't believe. And yeah, I'm not going to talk ill of them passing because this is just like about getting justice for their son, Fabian. He deserves to get justice. But yeah, I've also seen things about like babies being delivered shortly after the mother passes, as soon as they lose oxygen. So I wonder if the baby got delivered itself, you know, because babies get delivered when the mom's in a coma. That's so sad. I wonder if that had to do with the perplexing thing. It's very sad. So hopefully their souls can rest good now. And that telegram is very telling to me. And I feel like I learned a lot about Matthew looking through that telegram. He was I don't know what would have happened if they were still alive and had a baby in that environment. That's not good. Not good at all. It's just how much stuff they had there. Also, another thing I noticed is that the bag that Matthew had, anytime he picked up his load, he had this like shopping bag from this firearm place. And so my theory here is that Matthew either bought his firearms from that place and then use that bag to pick up. But for my like mentality, I would think if he's going to go pick up from his supplier, that supplier is going to have everything ready in bags for him so he can go in and out and be pretty quick and not hang out. You know, you don't want to hang out. You want to avoid suspicion, blah, 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 whatever. Maybe. I don't know. This is my assumption. I don't know anything about that world, really. Or that the person who sold it to Matthew, the head honcho of this like ring or whatever, shops there, maybe it doesn't own it. The person looks like a respectable person. I looked into them. They look perfectly fine. It could be an employee there, possibly, who uses the bags. And then, you know, this is just like crazy talk now. But yeah, Matthew could have shopped there for sure. I mean, the shopping bags were in a lot of photos that I could see at least. So either like, yeah, Matthew shopped there or whatever. Like, does anyone think that possibly the Preciados could be the people that Matthew bought from? Like, not just weed, but like all the other drugs that he bought. Could it be that they are like the people, you know? Like, I know like there's like, you know, the whole like mattress thing, like the conspiracy that people have like a mattress. Like Sleep Country Canada is like a front for the mafia. Like, I don't believe it's anything like that deep, but I believe that it was some sort of, you know, drug ring or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And that's my theories and whatever on the case. Okay, guys, that is really all I have for today's video. Sorry if that was jumbled. I was hoping more came out. I kind of had a feeling, like I mentioned so the other live that I've seen, so I mentioned allegedly with Brittany J. She's amazing. I really like her. Another one, because I saw it got mentioned actually in her live, and she doesn't like, any creator does not like when you mention in their live another creator, which obviously is with reason. But I saw this guy T-Rev. He's amazing. He's so good. I actually became a member of his channel. And I do plan to become a member of allegedly with Brittany's channel as well. I was just waiting for her to talk about, I was going to become one the other night, but I was just waiting for her to talk about the case and something that I find interesting before I became a member. I do find her amazing, so I'm going to become a member of her channel. And the T-Rev was the first channel I became a member of. I really like his conversation. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy his channel a lot. The lives, I've been losing sleep because I've been on the lives late at night, and I really enjoy conversing with people who, you know, are willing to think outside the box. So yeah, that's another channel I would recommend you guys to check out if you're interested in any sort of lives. He allows all sort of thinking, which I really appreciate, and I just really enjoy. Okay, so I want to share one more thing. I originally thought I was going to be like, hey guys, look, Myrta's court hearing is right here for her pretrial hearing. It's for January 30th this month, 2024. And then that Christopher's is for February 5th, 2024. And that Ramon's, I don't know if it's cut off there, but is booked for February the 6th, 2024. So then I was like, oh my gosh, she's totally going to have a plea deal because hers is like way before theirs. But then I just checked right now before sitting down to do this little edit here with the green screen, is that they changed it. It's now February 20th. So it's after Ramon's and Christopher's hearing. So I guess my assumption was going to be wrong, that she was going to get a plea deal. Maybe she was looking at it, I don't know. But also the judges changed. So originally her number there, that if you look at any of these court things, it says D290. And as you can see, the previous one up there says D379, which actually indicates which courthouse, like which judge, is going to be overseeing that case. So they were at different ones. It was Ramon and Christopher at one, and then Myrta at a different courthouse. But now it's all under the same judge. Who is this judge? Judge John Rangel. I'm actually super happy that Myrta's got switched to him, because he has a really good track record for actually punishing, where it was a woman, nothing against women, obviously I'm a woman myself, was the one overseeing Myrta's initially. That's who she was booked with. And she had like a bad rap for like letting people off and like not being liked, but he is great. So this is awesome. Great news that they are all going to be presiding under this judge. And it will all take place here at this courthouse in Bexar County. And if you're curious, this is for Ramon's court-appointed attorney. They all have court-appointed attorney. Sorry, I just can't say that. I tried recording that a bunch of times. I keep saying it wrong. Except for Myrta. So far, Myrta does not have an attorney. Obviously, she will have one, but right now, she does not have one in the system booked. This guy is also known for being like the best with crime. So, I mean, Ramon has a good lawyer in his corner. And this is Christopher's lawyer. Her name is Monica. Sorry, the other lawyer's name is John. And honestly, her reviews are really good. It says she did everything to stick by this person's side, and they were supposed to get 40 years, but got 3 years. So, I mean, they do have good court-appointed attorneys, but it doesn't mean they're going to get off. But obviously, as we saw with everything that's come out with the cult thing, and that judge who was presiding over that person had said, like, lawyers do what lawyers do. So, cross our fingers that hopefully they get the maximum time that they deserve to get. Reviews are... So yeah, sorry that my thoughts were all jumbled. They're always jumbled, but this is just a part of my channel. I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed lately. I'm me. I'm going to do my channel. Everyone's going to do my channel, and I appreciate those who are here. So this video, hopefully I'm going to get it out pretty quick here in the next day or so. Hopefully on Thursday, I'm going to get this video up. Maybe Friday at the latest, I'm going to get this up. And then if anything breaks, I will try to post about it. But yeah, I've done my best researching here. I wasn't going to share about this, but I'm just going to let you guys know, because I just don't want people to think that like, oh, you're so jumbled and you can't think straight, and what is this video about if this video is all confusing and didn't make sense to people, and like why was my thoughts like pattern all over the place and whatever. Why do I look exhausted right now? I'm exhausted because I have 2 young kids. My baby doesn't sleep well at night, still recovering from her surgery. She's doing fantastic, by the way. But yeah, I lost my grandpa, and I don't want to talk about it because it's gonna make me cry. And he passed away while I've been covering this case, and thankfully I've had my last conversations with him before he passed, and my heart's like pounding just right now sharing this. But he raised me. I lived with him most of my life. He's like literally like a dad to me. He's the dad figure. He's the one I wish a happy Father's Day to. So this has been very hard. His funeral is coming up in a couple days here, and it's gonna be really hard. I'm not gonna be able to post. There's no freaking way I'm gonna be able to post. It's gonna be too heartbreaking to be with my family, and yeah, it's just really hard. So please send your well wishes to my family. This is a very hard time for us. My grandma, I've never heard her cry my entire life, and it's very sad. I can't talk about it anymore because I'm gonna start crying, and I can feel my eyes filling up with tears right now. So yeah, I've done my best to, I'm building this channel for myself and for my family. I want to make an income for my family. Being a stay-at-home mom, I value that. Me and my husband value me being a stay-at-home mom. Well, stay-at-home working mom now, but I have continued doing this despite the strong hurt in my heart and this sadness that has overwhelmed me. And yeah, yeah, so that's all I'm going to share with that. And thank you so much for you guys being here. I will share about the $10,000, $10,000, yeah, right. The 10,000 subscriber giveaway coming up here soon. In my next video, I'll share about that if I hit 10,000 subscribers, or I'll just, you know, share more detail regardless. So like I said, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. And I hope wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day. Bye guys.